Welcome to Yvonne Makes Food, where I share my passions for making food, eating food, as well as traveling the world to discover and eat even more delicious food. Today we are in Melbourne, Australia, where Chris and I are spending the Christmas season with his family. We usually come to Melbourne during the holiday season because it's summertime here in the southern hemisphere. It's winter in the northern hemisphere, which is miserable and sad, and I've really come to enjoy summer Christmases over the last 7 years that we've been together. Melbourne, Australia is an amazing place. There's so much rich culture here. There's amazing architecture, there's great art. There's also graffiti art that is pretty much overtaking the city, so it has a very cool hipster vibe. And then on top of that, the food scene is pretty much out of this world. So another cool thing about Melbourne is that there are a lot of really funky neighborhoods, some of which are very ethnic. There's massive diversity here in Melbourne. Two of the neighborhoods that are super Vietnamese dominated are Springdale as well as Richmond. And today we actually picked up two different Banh Mi sandwiches, so Banh Mi are Vietnamese sandwiches, in the Richmond area. So two places. The first one is Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread, which we've actually been to last year. It was really tasty. We definitely wanted to come back and shoot at the place. And then on top of that, we're trying a second place that is supposed to be really good for Banh Mi, which is on the same street, Victoria Street in Richmond, and it's called Nhu Lan. So today we're going to be tasting both of the Banh Mi together, and then we also picked up some nice juice on the way that I'll describe in a little bit, but we're going to take a look at both of these together now. So to make this comparison of Banh Mi fare side by side for both Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread as well as from Nhu Lan, I got the same type of Banh Mi at both shops. So I picked out the Banh Mi Thịt Nguyen, which basically means that it's going to have a lot of different cuts of the typical Vietnamese meats that you would expect. So Vietnamese ham, jalua, they would have different types of char siu or barbecue pork, usually known in like a Chinese style, so there's usually like some red coloring on it. There's also going to be pate, there's also going to be mayonnaise, usually homemade. I don't know if they actually homemade it, but that's something to expect. And then of course all the usual salad fixings, as they like to call it. So the pickled daikon, carrot, as well as a fresh cucumber, and of course some spice, because we always love some heat. So we're gonna start by trying out the Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread Banh Mi. This is the one that I know for sure. They definitely make their bread in-house. There's some people that I saw come in just to buy loaves of bread, so you know that it's gonna be really good. I saw them make it all from scratch right in the front. So this is what the inside looks like. As you can see, there's a number of different types of cuts of meat in here. This looks like head cheese. We've also got some fresh coriander or cilantro. We've also got some jalua here, the pickled daikon and carrot, as well as a nice thin slice of fresh cucumber. And then if we keep looking at the inside, we also see that there looks like there's some kind of a sauce, might be Maggi sauce. And then I also asked for it to be spicy, so they added a little bit of chili paste as well. Ooh, and there's even more stuff. So this is probably the char siu, more jalua, and then a lot of this mayonnaise that's gonna be really yummy. And then lastly, this is a little bit hard to see because it's kind of mashed up with the mayonnaise, but you can definitely tell there's a thin layer of pate as well. So we're gonna take a bite of this right now and see what it's like. So here goes. Oh my God, that mayonnaise is so good. Ooh, spicy. It's really creamy, both from the mayonnaise as well as the pate. The meatiness of it is really jumping out at me. And then the mayonnaise, for some reason on this sandwich, is just so strong and flavorful. It tastes kind of eggy, it's super creamy, it's a little bit sweet. And then the pepper from that fresh chili paste, I don't actually think it's like there's anything added to it. I literally think that they just took a bunch of red Thai chilies and then just mashed it up like in a mortar and pestle, because you don't actually see anything other than the chilies themselves. freshness of the cucumber and the carrot and the daikon really come out. And then the cilantro goes so well with all these different flavors. It really like brings them all together. Plus, this bread is really, really good. Even though it was sitting in the car for a little bit while we tried to find a place to shoot this, it's still really nice and soft. It still has a nice crunch on the outside, and the inside is super, super airy. It's almost like ethereal. Okay, so moving on to the second banh mi. This one again is from Nhu Lan, and I also got the same type. So we're gonna take a look at the inside really quickly. So just for comparison's sake, it has all pretty much the same elements as Phuoc Thanh has. It's got the jalua, you can see a big piece of that there. We've got some, ooh, it looks like there's like some fresh pork here. We've also got some head cheese, the pickled daikon and carrot, fresh cilantro, and a nice thin slice of this cucumber. Actually, there's two of them here. Oh, they're more like sticks actually. Oh, no, wait, that's not cucumber. This is, oh, this one is, oh wow, it's a big stick of scallion or spring onion. And then here's the little stick of the cucumber. And then I also asked for chilies, or I asked it for them to be spicy. They have given me thinly sliced Thai chilies that are red. And then if we keep looking at what's inside, got more head cheese, more jalua. And then we also got a mix of mayonnaise as well as a pate. I think that they also added Maggi sauce as well, which is what these brown spots are here. Ooh, you can tell just by moving this bread that it's definitely still crusty on the outside. It has that nice sort of sound that you know that the inside's gonna be airy and the outside's gonna be crusty and crunchy. So now we're gonna take a bite of the Nhu Lan banh mi together. So here goes, banh mi number 2. Whoa, this crustiness is more than that one. This one definitely keeps better in that short car ride than the Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread one. Crunch is really on point. So unlike the Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread banh mi, where the first flavor was really the mayonnaise and then the different meats on the inside, this one, the first thing that struck me was actually the bread. So the crustiness of the bread, even though we were in a short car ride to get to the Central Business District of Melbourne to shoot this. And the second thing, the pate flavor is super strong. I kind of got it already when I was kind of moving it around and I was licking my fingers, but the pate is just really, really meaty. It's very creamy. Has a very, very strong, intense flavor. The pate is much stronger than Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread. And then the mayonnaise is definitely more subtle on this one. So therefore, like for my opinion, I feel like the pate flavor kind of dominates in the sandwich. So the inside, they're different layers of meat. You can definitely taste all of them. It's a really good combination of the freshness of the coriander with the pickled daikon and radish, and then that cucumber. And it all really just comes together because of the meats and the freshness of all the vegetables. And then the bread just really kind of wraps them all together, and it's so, so good. This one's really, really good. And I can't even believe it's still so fresh and crusty even after that car ride. I don't know if you can hear it, but that was a really loud crunch. So eating both of these banh mi, I definitely can feel the heat from the Thai chilies getting to me. My mouth is definitely a little bit on fire right now, but I don't want to stop because it's so, so good. Every bite that I'm taking of these banh mi sandwiches, there are crumbs from the bread getting everywhere, and that's always a really good sign of an authentic banh mi sandwich, when you know that the bread is just shattering everywhere and it's literally getting all over your lap and all over your face and all over wherever it is that you're sitting and eating. So if I had to compare the two of these, I would definitely say that after that car ride, Nhu Lan definitely wins when it comes to the bread. The bread is still super crusty, it's really crunchy on the outside, definitely has that shattering component when it comes to how the bread gets everywhere with every single bite. The Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread one doesn't really have that as much after the car ride. It definitely does shatter a bit, but not as much as the Nhu Lan one does. And then in terms of overall flavor and how the different components all come together. The Nhu Lan one definitely has stronger flavors, so the Patte definitely jumped out at me right away. It was a very, very strong, meaty, creamy flavor. And then that paired really well with all the fresh elements of all the vegetables that have been included, as well as the crunchiness of the bread. The Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread banh mi overall, the mayonnaise was actually what stuck out to me. I really, really loved the creaminess and the richness of the mayonnaise. It was probably the first flavor that really stood out to me. And all the other flavors were really, really good, and both were very spicy. But I would say overall, as an overall package, the Nhu Lan one is definitely my favorite of both of these. So another thing we got when we were on our way back to the car was we saw this little nondescript juice guy that was standing at a nondescript little storefront. The storefront was literally empty. There was nothing there except for a man with his stand and these really, really long stalks of sugar cane. And I love sugar cane. I've had it so many times. I loved it in Vietnam, both times when I visited. It's just very, very sugary, as you would imagine, because it is sugar cane, so it's sugar in its purest form. And what they do is they actually take big stalks of sugar cane and they ram them through this machine that extracts all of the juice and squeezes it all out of the sugar cane so that you're left with this pure green colored juice. And then you have all this crazy, stocky, woody sugar cane pulp that's like left behind. We're gonna try this to see how delicious it's going to be. At least we hope it's gonna be delicious. So the man squeezed it fresh for us, and we're gonna take a taste of it right now. So here goes. Ooh, it's super sweet. It's so sweet. It's probably the sweetest sugar cane I've ever had. I know that he definitely didn't add anything extra. Some places will add extra sugar, or they'll add lime juice because it's really popular to have sugar cane juice in Vietnam with some added lime because people like the tartness. But this is just pure sweet with just like a hint of citrusy flavor kind of at the very end. The consistency, even though it's juice, it's almost like a little bit creamy. The color is a little bit, it's kind of like an olivey green color, and then it's a little bit cloudy. But this is just pure sweet with citrusy undertones kind of at the end. This is really yummy. So if you ever come to Melbourne, definitely stop by either the Richmond suburb or the Springvale suburb for Vietnamese food. There's definitely even more food than just Vietnamese. There's Chinese, there's Thai, there's Indian. There's so many different varieties of cuisines and things that you can get. And I feel like every single time I come to Melbourne and go to these same neighborhoods, there's always new places that pop up and new dishes that we end up discovering that end up being super amazing and just so authentic. So I think that overall, I mean, just given that Australia has such close proximity to Vietnam, it's definitely no surprise that the Vietnamese food here is amazing. But for banh mi, these sandwiches are really, really spot on. Nhu Lan, of course, is my favorite of these two, but Phuoc Thanh Hot Bread is also really delicious. And I'm positive that there are other really great banh mi shops all over Melbourne, as well as other parts of Australia that I just haven't had the opportunity to visit and try yet. I would definitely say that the banh mi that we've had here in Melbourne, probably some of the best banh mi I've ever had outside of Vietnam. And if you have watched my banh mi video of Boss Nguyen in Brooklyn, New York, I would definitely recommend that you watch it. But in case you haven't watched it, the way that I would compare that banh mi with these two, I would probably say that even though the New York one or Boss Nguyen's banh mi is really, really good, for whatever reason, this Nhu Lan banh mi bread feels more airy and crisper to me than that one. And that's saying a lot because I really, really love the Boss Nguyen banh mi. It's definitely the best banh mi I've had in the US. And then on top of that, I would say that the Patte flavor here with the Nhu Lan banh mi is probably stronger than Boss Nguyen's. So I will leave all of the information for both of these banh mi sandwich shops in the Richmond suburb of Melbourne in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I would also love to hear your feedback in the comments below. And please follow me for more food, more travel, as I eat more, cook more, and discover more of the world. Thanks again for watching. Bye.